So, good evening and welcome to our session today. So, this is our last session. Today, we are going to cover about correlation, regression, and what if analysis. Those are the three things we're going to cover today. But now we have to check about the assignment that was submitted from the previous session, which was about the dashboard development. And I can see our colleagues who submitted their work in the call and would like to see how is your assignment, how is your dashboard interacting. And maybe from there we can be able to move to our today's objective before others will find us along the way. So Mustafa or Emmanuel, who wants to go first? Zumba, to share your screen so that we can see what you are able to deliver. What you are able to deliver. If you can hear me, Emmanuel, Zumba. Or Mustafa.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Emmanuel.
Yes. I'm on my way. I think about 3 minutes I'll be settling, so I can share the screen.
Okay.
If someone
Okay.
can
Okay.
proceed, then you come later. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, Mustafa. Just share your screen so that we can be able to see what you are able to deliver. Or anyone else who was able to work on the assignment, raise your hand and share your screen so that we can see what you are able to do, and then we proceed to our today's objective. We already have your work if you submitted. So we just want you to share, to present. For example, let me see whose work is just downloaded. Zumba. Yeah, it's Emmanuel. So let me share Emmanuel's work. Hope, Emmanuel, it's okay when I share your work here, what you're able to do. Emmanuel?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share your work. Share screen. Yeah, so this is Emmanuel's work. This is Emmanuel's work. This is what Emmanuel was able to give us. And let me see if it is interactive, because one of the objectives was that it was to be interactive. So Emmanuel, you did not report connections to all the dashboards. Let me see this. This one is that. So Emmanuel did not report connections after developing a very beautiful dashboard. Yeah, so Emmanuel did not report connection. So Emmanuel, what you need to do is to report connection. So what you do, you come to, for example, this slicer, you right click on it, and then you go to report connections here. I don't know if you're able to see my screen when I say right click.
Yes. Yes.
Then you see report connection. Okay.
We are only able to see the cursor only, not report connection.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me just reshare another way of sharing, where I share the whole screen, entire screen, so that we can be able to see the whole screen. Yeah. So let me share again, entire screen, so that we can see what Emmanuel was able to do. Yeah. So you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so Emmanuel, you are to right click here and then go to report connection. We have said that when you click on your visuals, only 2 charts are changing. We want everything to change so that we can report based on your findings. So what you do, you right click, select one of the slicers. Of course, you have to report for every slicer. So just start with the first one. You see these tables are not checked. The more pivot tables are not checked. So ensure that everything here is checked. And then you can now click on OK. And then now when you select this slicer, everything will be able to change on this. I think there is a problem, Emmanuel, on okay, maybe you just wanted this slicer to work on this section, but it's always good when it can be able to be interactive on all the other parts. But if it's not relevant on other parts, of course, you leave it out, no problem. So you go to the next one. Next one, you right click and then you report connection. Right click, report connection. You also check this boxes. You click OK. So when you select here, that one is changing. So it means these slices are for this side. And okay, then now we can now proceed to this one also. Right click, report connection, so that it can be interactive. So you do that, then you click OK. So this one will also be able to change based on that. You see, we have now 4 charts. That means this last has only work on this side, but is always advisable. I'll show you how it should interact. So when you come to this side, let's see what's happening. Again, the same charts. Okay, the same charts. Same charts. Okay, the same charts. Okay, so let's see what's wrong here. So we report connection, and it is just the same. So that means that maybe some of the charts here were not developed from pivot. Some of the charts here were not developed from the pivot table. That's what I'm anticipating. I'm just thinking that some of the charts that are on the right hand side were not developed from pivot. If they were to have been developed from pivot, you could have seen them interact. While we report connection. We could have seen their pivot tables here. So Emmanuel, that's need to ensure that all your plots are from the pivot tables. If you want to create plots that are not recognized by the pivot tables, there is a way that you can do that. You need to create a plot that is not recognized as a pivot table. You see, these plots are not from pivot table. So let me show you some of the work here. So you see, like this dashboard. You see, like this dashboard. It is interactive. Let me just see. So it is completely interactive. Let me just unfilter this. Yeah, like that. So this let me also unfilter everything here. This is the original. So I can access the data source here. When I click here, I can go to the database. When I click here, I can visit the website. When I click here, I can visit the website. So you see here, there is that info and that hover info, that this is our website, and then this is the database. So when I want to see the database, it's easier. Just click here and I'll be led to the database. So the database is this sheet. Yeah. And when I click here, I'll be led to to our website. So I don't want to go there right now, but it will lead you to the website. And then now here you see everything is interactive. Everything is changing. So all your charts should be able to change while you are clicking on any slicer, unless it is filtered out or it does not exist in that range. So things like that. So it should be able to be interactive that way. So if you create a pivot tables like these pivot tables that we have here, and you want to create another, this is just as a result of filters on the other end, so it should not work. So if you want to create another visual, not as a result of pivot table, and you want it to be interactive, you can still also do that. So let me unfilter from the dashboard. Let me unfilter everything and show you how you can do that to insert another visual that is not here. So for example, when you come to the pivot table and you want to insert, for example, here we want to insert panel chart. Panel chart will not be inserted from the pivot. It will refuse. It will tell you it cannot be able to produce panel chart from pivot data. So you can't create this type, this chart type with the data inside the pivot table. Please select a different chart type. So what you do, if you still want panel, so what you do, you create another sales per year here. for example here, and then now you reference to the cell, to the values here. So what you do, copy first of all copy this, the years, and then now say equal to, then you reference to the pipe, so that when you do the slicer selecting, when you select the slicers, it can be able to, when you drag like that, that's filling out everything. So I'll not go with that because it is locked. Everything is absolute. You can see from here, everything is absolute, so it's locked. So what we'll just do, I will just reference the normal way. So just reference to 2013, hit enter, say equal to, reference to 2014, like that. So when you come here again and highlight data and go to your pivot and go to your normal visual, or you can just go to your normal visual. Now you can get your funnel chart under insert, and you go to, there are more charts here. So let's just go to recommended charts, and you can see there are a lot of charts here, all charts. When you go to all charts, go to funnel. Now you can see funnel is being produced. Yeah, so that's just like thing you should be able to consider while doing that. So because there is not much difference in the values here, that's why the funnel is like equal. But now it's not appropriate. You cannot now use funnel to visualize this kind of data. Yeah, so that's what we expected from our learners about the dashboard. Is there any question? Any challenge? Anyone who experienced a challenge while building the dashboard? Let me stop.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
I think some of my dashboard did not interact with the rest of the data because I think the version of Excel that I'm using.
Yes, yes. Maybe, did you produce all the charts from the pivot?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So maybe we will be able to figure that out. We will be able to align and be able to check maybe what could be the reason for that.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So is there another question on developing interactive dashboard in Microsoft Excel? Because that is done. So we are supposed to learn something new. Oh, Mohammed, how are you able to see our screen? I don't know if I will, is Mohammed who only had some challenges in the chat section? Hope we are all able to see the screen that I was explaining some concept on the dashboard. George, can you confirm if you were able to see the screen?
Yes, yes, I was.
Okay. Okay. So, Mohammed, when you experience such, you can just leave the call and come back, and then you'll be sorted. Sometimes just due to network. Okay. So, we can now proceed to our today's objective. So, today's objective, I want to, today I have not created a link for downloading the data. So I want to share the data via emails, and I will also create the link for that. So I want to share the data via emails, and then someone will share the screen. So today we are looking about, we are going to talk about very interesting elements in data analysis, but we are going to focus on business data. We are going to focus on business data so that we can, of course, we all understand some business terms, and of course, we know that majority of the problems that exist in the world of data is business problems. So let me just share the data set via email. So please check your email for the data set for our session. So I'm just sharing. Once I have our your email, if you usually receive, definitely We will have the data. We'll have the data. So sharing the data sets. Okay. Yeah, so shared. So just download the data set and let me know if you already have the data set. If you don't have, you've not received our email, let me know just now. Just now. So today we are going to discuss about, we want to start looking at correlation, just checking the relationships between business variables. For example, relationship between profit and the price, the relationship between cost and price. The internet is weird. So my internet is kind of poor here. Let me see what's the problem. Sorry about that, you lost me. So hope you have the data. Hope we all have the data. Can someone confirm that? Can someone confirm if we have the data?
Yes, I have it.
Mercy, do you have data? Karen?
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. Mustafa, do you have the data? George, do you have the data?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we can start. So we just want to go straight to the practical. We are not going to talk about a lot of theories about correlation and theories about regression and a lot of theories. We are going to practical. So I'll start by sharing my screen. So just open your data, and I'm also sharing my screen. Entire screen, share. So the first data is, we want to go to sheet 1, the first sheet, which is about simple linear regression. Simple linear regression. Simple linear regression. Are we there? So, is there a question? Someone raising a hand? Something? Okay, okay, Mustafa, thank you. There's a message. Okay. So to focus on correlation, so we have a business case study here. So if you can see my screen about a business case study, I am zooming it so that we can be able to see. So business case study, so analyzing the impact of advertising on sales revenue. We want to analyze the impact of advertisement on sales revenue. So we have, what is the background of this task? The background of this task is that we have a company, a retail company, XYZ, which wants to understand the impact of its advertising expenditures on sales revenue. So the marketing team has been running campaigns across various media channels and wants to analyze how effectively these campaigns translate into sales. You see? So we want to check the relationship between the advertisement cost or advertisement expenditures and the revenue. Is there a relationship? So what is the objective? The objective is to determine the relationship between the advertising, spending, and sales revenue using regression and correlation analysis. Specifically, we want to aim to establish if there is a correlation between advertising and sales revenue. And also we want to build a regression model to predict sales revenue based on advertising spending. Okay. Sample data, the one we have, the data consists of monthly records for 1 year, detailing the amount spent on advertising, which is in thousands of dollars, and the corresponding sales revenue, which is also in thousands of dollars. This is the data, the one we have. So we start the analysis. So we go to the data. So what I will do, I will allow someone to share the screen. So who is ready to share the screen so that we can guide you on how we are going to go about this? Who is ready to lead us today? About
Let me share.
okay, Manuel. Emmanuel, we are waiting. We can't see your screen. Okay, there we go. You can see your screen. So just download the data and open it in Excel. Just download the data and open it in Excel.
Are you able to see my screen?
We are only able to see the email and
Okay.
not
Let me-
so share the entire screen, not the window, or yeah. So just share the entire screen. So Emmanuel, what you will do, maybe sometimes because of your background, you can just mute, just in case of the background, you can mute. We will be guiding you. Okay. Can you, Emmanuel? Because we can
Yes.
some background. Thank you. So you will only be unmuting where necessary. So go to simple linear regression. That's it. So first of all, while we were starting our sessions, we started by enabling a data toolkit in Excel. So we did that. So just check, go to data tab, under home, go to data tab, under home, go to data tab, under home, go to data tab. So home, insert, page layout, formulas, data tab, then check if you have data analysis. You seem you don't have data analysis. So what you do, go to file. Anyone else who doesn't have data analysis toolpack, so go to file, go to options, go to file, go to options. Under options, go to add-ins. Under add-ins, click on Go. Can you move your stop sharing the stop sharing thing? Yeah, click on Go now. Click on Go down there. So under Go, check their analysis toolpack. Analysis toolpack, the first one. The first one. And click on OK. Click on OK. So once you enable your analysis toolpack, now you can be able to launch it. Now you can see it the far end under data. The far end, you can see it. Now you click on it. Yeah, that one. You click on it. Now when you click it, you can see a lot of analysis there that you can be able to perform in Microsoft Excel. So today we are only going to look at correlation and regression using data analysis toolpack. But things with the what if analysis, we will use the what if analysis that we see there under data tab. So click on correlation. So we said correlation is used to check for relationships between two variables. So this retail company wants to know if advertising expenditures have an impact on the total revenue. Advertising expenditures has an impact on the total revenue. So click on correlation. Click on correlation. Click on correlation, then click OK. Correlation, click OK. So there you can see you are being asked. You can just drag that dialog message box to the dialog box to the other side. Drag it so that you can move it. Just click on it and see if you can drag. Yeah, nice. So the input range. So for correlation, it doesn't ask you to specify, oh, this column is for x-axis, this column is for the y-axis. So what we want to do is to plot, is to get the correlation analysis, and then we will visualize this kind of relationship using scatter plot to see how is the relationship. Now, select the data range from advertising, the two columns for advertising spendings and the sales. Select them down once, go up to cell 13, row 13. Up to row 13. So we are selecting the data range. And then we will say that our data contain labels. So check the checkbox there, labels in first row. Data is grouped as a column, so you check on labels in the first row. And then you select the output range where you want to see the output range. We don't want it in a new sheet, we want it in an existing sheet. So click there inside that message box, the text box, inside the text box corresponding to the output range, and select where you want to visualize, to view, where you want to view the correlation. So the correlation, you may select row O2, select row O2, which is cell O2, cell O2. Yeah, select there, just click, yeah. Then you can now click on OK. Click on OK. Click on OK. Yeah, so we can see the values there. We can see the values there. So while computing correlation, we usually produce something we call Pearson R value. Pearson R value. So before we proceed, just close that tab. Yeah, we want to, before we interpret, we want to produce a scatter plot. Before we interpret, we want to produce a scatter plot. So go to insert. We want to produce a scatter plot. A scatter plot is the visual. And then go to charts. Under charts, select under dots, go to the dots, under charts, just yeah, that one. Click there. Oh, first of all, you have to select your data. So select the data range first, and then go to the select the data range. No, the data range advertising and stuff. Yeah, the data range. Select that data range, the one we had selected, like the way we were doing for correlation. Now go to that insert, and then from insert you select the scatter plot. Click there. Click there. So when you click there, select the first one, you can see the kind of scatter plot you are getting. Click on it. So what scatter plot does, it combines the data points. Each data point, pair of data points creates a point, creates a point on the scatter plot grid line or scatter plot panel axis. So there we can be able to add the trend line to see how does this work. So click on the add chart element, the plus sign you see there. Hey, if I am too fast, please let me know so that we can go step by step for those whom we are leaving behind. So we started by doing checking if we have data analysis toolpack already in our data tab.
Manuel,
Yes,
just to take you back,
yes,
I got a call.
yes,
I was
yes.
somehow disrupted.
Okay.
I was at, you left me at the input range. So if you can
Oh,
go
you put
back to
you put range for
range, yes.
correlation. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Yes.
So let's go back because maybe we may have been too fast. So let's go back. So just delete the scatter plot. Just click on the scatter plot and delete it. Click on the scatter plot and delete it. Click the whole scatter plot. Yeah, just click on the space bar on your laptop. Or backspace, sorry, backspace. Yeah. So now select the data range. Select the data range for advertising and spending. So we don't want to visualize it first, so we need to go to the correlation. So go to the data tab, go to the data tab, go to the data tab. Now go to the data analysis toolpack, the one we enabled. Go to the data analysis toolpack. From the data analysis toolpack, you select correlation, you click on OK. Select correlation, click on OK, like that. And then there now you select the output, the input range. You select the input range. Now you select the range that we have already selected there. So you select also like that. Select the range like that. So once you select the range, you check that your data is contains labels in the first row. If you have selected up to the labels are just the advertising spendings and the sales revenue spending. These are the column names. And then grouped by, the data is grouped by column. Unless your data is grouped by row, you can be able to change under grouped by. And then now you select where you want to view your output. So you click on the output range, change from the new worksheet, then you put on the output range, select where you want to see your output range. So I will advise Emmanuel to change the output range. Just delete that one, and select cell O10. Select cell O10. Select cell O10. And then click on OK. Click on OK. So it's just the same results we've obtained. We are going to interpret the results. But before we interpret the results, we want to create a scatter plot. We want to create a scatter plot where we can be able to visualize the trend between the sales revenue and the advertising. What is the trend? When the advertisement increases, the sales revenue increases. Those are the things that we want to look at. So go to select the data range, and then go to insert. Select the data range and then go to insert. Select the data range and then go to insert. Then go to the charts, then check the scatter plot. Under insert, chart, scatter plot. You can even, like that. Okay. So click on it. Click on it. Okay. So that's our simple scatter plot that we have obtained. We have not done anything on our scatter plot. So maybe we may want to add some axis titles. We may want to add, can you edit that title to add advertisement versus revenue? Advertisement versus revenue. Just call it advertisement versus revenue. But I don't advise you to name your chat title like that. You need to put the units. Of course, units we can put in the axis titles and everything can be okay, and everything can be okay. So advertisement versus revenue. Okay. So once we have done that, now click on ads. Click on ads. So under ad, check axis title. Check axis title. So change the axis title. So just check in terms of the values that you see there. You can see that the column y-axis, is the revenue, which is usually the one we are trying to predict, the one that is the output variable, the one we call outcome variable, the one we call response variable. When we will be coming to simple linear regression, we'll be able to talk about those terms. But now here, revenue is the one on the y-axis, and advertisement, the first one, goes to x-axis. So change axis title there to advertisement. So you can put the units in quotes, in brackets. Sometimes you can just copy the cell names that are already there in the data, the cell names that are already there in the column names. So copy those column names and paste. You copy them and paste in your chart so that you can at least be accurate. Just copy and then go to, just copy, Control C to copy, Control C to copy, and then go to your advertisement, and then Control A to select everything, Control A to select everything, Control A to select everything, and then Control V to paste, Control V to paste, Control V to paste. And then also do the same for sales revenue. So copy the sales revenue column name, copy the sales revenue column name, and then go to the same way, go to the revenue, and then Control A to select everything inside it, that small box for axis title for the y-axis. Select everything, Control A to select everything in it, and then Control V to paste. Control V to paste. Okay, is everyone there? Is everyone there? Okay, once we are there, is everyone there? Anyone left behind? Anyone left behind? Okay, we proceed. So what we want to add next, we want to add the trend line to our plot. So go to the, click on the chart, then on the plus element, click, go to trend line, check that. And of course, when you hover on the arrow that is pointing to the right, on the same trend line, when you hover to the arrow pointing to the right, click on it. You can see linear, you can see linear, exponential. So depending with how your data will be like, you can be able to change there the type of these are like things we call the expression. So it may be equation, it may follow quadratic, it may follow linear, it may follow exponential, it may follow polynomial, and stuff like that. So once we have selected that, for us, we are going with linear. Just click on linear. Just click on linear, not linear focus. Just click on linear. So once you click on linear dialog box, another box should appear. Another box should appear. It's not appearing. So go to more options. Yes, it's linear anyway already. So go to the more options under that trend line. Under that trend line, go to more options, down, more options. Yeah. Now you see there, you can change the trend based on how your data is distributed. You can be able to change the plots there to follow a given trend line, be it a polynomial, be it a logarithmic, be it an exponential, be it a moving average for time series data, and stuff like that. And now scroll down there, scroll down. We just want to add Scroll down. Check display equation on charts. And also check display R squared. Okay. That's okay. So display equation on the chart. This is just the simple linear regression equation that we can be able to attach on our scatter plot. So what simple linear regression equation does is that it tries to predict the sales revenue based on advertisement, only one variable, which is independent. And then we also have a dependent variable. So first of all, for you to use linear regression, there are assumptions that your data must follow. So when you have time, you can check at that. So some of the assumptions is that our data must be linear. So we must check the relationship between our data. And we can see scatter plot is usually one of the plots that we usually check if our data is linear. As you can see, our data is linear. And now we can proceed to interpret the correlation. How strong is sales and advertisement in this kind of data sample that we have? So click outside anywhere in another cell, click anywhere in another cell, or we can close close that format shape window, close it. So we are done with that part. So once we close it, now we want to interpret the correlation value, and then we will also maybe proceed with the scatter plot. So maybe scatter plot, you'll have to zoom it, you'll have to extend it to be a large chart so that we can be able to see it a little bit better, because from our end we see it very small. Okay, so just before the scatter plot, let's interpret the correlation values. Just zoom that, scroll that, like that. So we see that we have a value of 0.997069. So this value, we usually call it a Pearson R value. Pearson R value. Pearson R value. So this value usually ranges between -1 and 1. Usually ranges between -1 and 1. That's why you see where we have same variable, you see it produces a contingency table, a cross tabulation table, where we have advertisement, sales revenue, and stuff like the contingency table there. Not there. The contingency table is just where the results are. Yes, that table. Scroll so that we can see the full table. It's a contingency table, like that. So you see, whenever we have a diagonal, along the diagonal, it is usually 1. The value is usually 1. That means it's a strong correlation between the variable and itself, of which we cannot interpret such analysis. We usually compare a variable and another variable, not variable and itself. So here we say the value usually ranges between -1 and 1. When the value is less than 0, that means when the value is in the negative side, it shows a negative relationship between the variables. Negative relationship between the variables means what? It means that when one increases, one decreases. When one decreases, one increases. A unit increase in one variable causes another variable to decrease. So in this case, our value ranges more than 0. So it is in the range of 0 to 1. So that means it's a positive relationship. And this is evident even from the chart itself. We can see that is a positive trend. When it is a negative trend, the values will be running from in the opposite direction, going downwards. The value will be running from the opposite direction. That means that it will be running from, let me say, cell. Okay, I'm not the one who is presenting, so I could have shown in the chart. The value, when is a negative relationship, the chart should be ranging from your top left to bottom right. Yes, when your value is negative, it will range, the plots will be top left down to the bottom right. Yes, that is a negative relationship. Whenever you see a value that is straight in the bottom left to the top right, that will mean that is a positive relationship. Whenever there is no relationship, it will be a straight horizontal line. it will be a straight horizontal line. And now from here, we can say that our relationship between advertisement and the revenue is strong, a positive relationship. Now, remember, I have added another term known as strong. So it can be positive, but not strong. It can be negative, but not strong. So what determines the strength of the relationship? There's where now we have to produce the Pearson R value to help us know the strength. If we look at the scatter plot, we may see with our eyes and maybe think it is strength, it's strong or it's not. But when we have the Pearson value, it's easier for us to use statistical background to understand the strength. So when the value ranges between 0 and 0.5, it is a weak positive relationship. When the value ranges between 0.5 to 1, it is a strong positive relationship. When the value ranges between 0 to -5, -0.5, it is a weak negative relationship. When the value ranges between -0.5 to 1, it is a strong negative relationship. So from this, can we say that the strength for these two variables, which is the revenue and the advertisement, is strong? Can we say that it's strong? Can someone support that based on the background we've given about the Pearson value? Can someone support that? Can we say that the strength here between the advertisement spendings and the sales revenue is strong? That means that the more you have you put more expenditure, you put more budget in advertisement, the more revenue is likely to increase. That's what this sample data is telling us. So based on the value that we see there, it is actually true that it is a very strong positive relationship. So we have a model on our chart. So we want to produce a simple linear regression for this data that we have. Like we can be able to predict that, like when we give a budget of 500 shillings, $500,000, we are likely to get this revenue. When we have this, we can be able to get this. That's what simple regression is about. So we want to use statistical background about simple linear regression for us to be able to do that. So I request Emmanuel to delete that chart. Oh, no, don't delete it. Take it down. Yeah. So there is okay. So let's proceed to produce simple linear regression. Unless there is a question. Okay. So go to the data analysis tab. Go to the data analysis tab. Go to the data tab and then data analysis. Data tab. Data analysis. So we are going to carry out regression. So scroll down and check for regression. Scroll down in that analysis toolpack and check for regression. Regression is there. So you see we have a lot of statistical tests here, but we cannot be able to cover them here. But we have a video that we covered this in our previous webinar. We had an online webinar about data analysis. So we covered some of this is already on YouTube. So you can find time and look at it. So you click on OK. Once you select regression, click on OK. Once you select regression, click on OK. So you see, unlike correlation doesn't ask you the Y and the X, like which is the dependent variable and which is the independent variable. Y is usually the dependent variable. So in this case, revenue depends on advertisement. We want to predict what? Revenue. What you want to predict is what we call dependent, is what is usually on the Y. So select sales revenue column under input Y range. Select sales revenue column, the whole value for that. Select the whole values for that. Select the whole values for that. Up to there. Yes. Now go to input X range. Under input X range, select advertising spendings. The whole of that column with values. Nice. Now, once we are there, our data contain labels because we selected the data starting from the column names. So check labels. Check labels. That means our data contain labels. And things with confidence interval, we are not going to talk about that, so don't include it. But you can further research on how it works. It's more statistical. So go to output range. Select the output range where you want to see your output. Okay. Now select the where you want to view. So we want to view the regression. Regression is usually big. So you'll just scroll and select down below the correlations. Yeah, select just down below the correlation. Yes, there as the output range. No, you see you're interrupting the y-axis, I range. You must first of all start by selecting the dialog, the text box for what you are performing. So select that cell down, select your data again. Then now go to the output range, select it there on the text box, then click anywhere down below that. So remember, regression is usually big, so ensure that it will not overwrite anything that will be existing. So click on OK. Click on OK. So you can go to the summary output, scroll down to the summary output. So when you are populating regression, it usually populates the Pearson R value, which we call their multiple R, That value is the same as the value that we have for correlation above. So it usually starts by checking the linear relationship between the variables. And then R squared, you can see R squared is there, and R squared is also in the plot. Remember, on the plot, we added R squared. So R squared tells us to what extent does the variables that we have added in our model. Remember, here we are modeling. We are creating a regression model. So it tells us to what extent does the variable that we have included in the model explain the dependent variable. In other words, it means to what extent, to what percentage does advertisement explain, influence, impact the revenue. That's based on the data that we have here. So it is telling us it is 99.4147%. We usually convert it to percentage, so that we can note what percent does the dependent variable explain. Coefficient of variation. In statistical background, we usually call it the coefficient of variation. Okay, so when you go down, you can see the adjusted R square, which is usually the adjusted R squared, the way it's called. What it does, it removes noise. It removes error from that could have as a result of maybe having more variables in your data, things like outliers in your data. Outliers are weird entries, things that are beyond the bounds. Yeah, so we call them outliers. So we usually, whenever you have adjusted R squared, we usually recommend using adjusted R squared because it has adjusted the R squared from noise. So usually use it. You can see the value is usually less than R squared. Either is equal to or less than. So we usually use it to interpret. Whenever it is equal, you just use one, either R squared or adjusted R squared. Whenever it is not equal, use the adjusted R squared. So interpretation is the same, it's just the coefficient of variation. Okay, so we will scroll down. I'm not going to interpret the analysis of variance, the ANOVA. I'm not also going to talk about the standard error or observation. I'm not going to talk about that. What we are interested in here is the model under coefficients. So leave alone the ANOVA that we can cover it We usually cover that in other softwares. And of course, when it's a complete Excel course, you can also cover analysis of variance. So here we are interested in the model. So take that scatter plot near to, take scatter plot near to that output, so that we can see that model and the values we see there. So remember, we displayed the equation. So that is that equation is usually as a result of the coefficients that have been computed here. So first of all, we usually start by checking if the coefficients are significant. Checking if the coefficients we have added in our model, the coefficients are, in simple linear regression, we usually have an equation given by y. I want you, Emmanuel, to type it in the formula bar. Type it in the formula bar. Type this in formula bar. Y is equal to, so we want to use B to represent beta naught coefficient. So use B, use capital B. B, and then 0 to represent naught, B0 plus B1, B1x, B1x. Yeah, so that is the simple linear regression equation. The equation we see here in the chart is as a result of that. So what we are doing, we are replacing the coefficients. Intercept is usually the beta naught. So we usually start with the x. We usually start with, while writing, we usually start with, you can start with either, because addition is commutative and addition is additive. These are the things that go to some it reminds me my undergraduate classes on discrete mathematics. So things like substitution and stuff like that. So addition has no impact on whether you are starting with what to add on what. That is what it means. So you can either start with the 0, or you can either start with the 1, with the beta naught, or you can start with the beta 1x. So you can see in our equation, we are starting, the equation on the scatter plot is starting with the y is equal to 1.2727x plus 141.36. So we want to interpret this. You can see the coefficients that are there are the ones that are on the equation. That is pretty nice. So we want to check, if you want to check if your equation are significant, you check on the column known as p-value. Column known as p-value on that table. The same table, there is a column known as p-value. Probability value. You usually check that value and compare if that value is less than 0.05. We compare if that value is less than 0.05. You can see those values are very small values. They are very small values. To an extent, they are expressed in that form. So they are very small values. So that means that our coefficients are significant. Significant, that means that we can rely on them. To what percent? 95%. That's why you see things with confidence interval that I do not want to talk about. Anyway, now we proceed. We want to interpret, how does this impact in business? We are in a business case study. How do we apply this in business? Now we are saying that, remember, Y is what we call revenue while we were inputting that. So we said Y is the revenue. So we are going to say Y, which is revenue. Revenue is equal to 1.2727 times advertisement plus 141.36. Whenever we want to predict new revenue, what's that? That's what I mean. Whenever we want to predict new revenue based on advertisement, just replace your X with a value. Replace your X with a value, and you will be able to get new revenue. So I want us to predict. I want us to use that concept to predict. So before we predict, let's make sense out of this. So what it means is that Whenever we don't include advertisement, like X is equal to 0, revenue will give us $141,000. When we don't include anything, we don't give any effort in our business, we are likely to get a revenue of 141.36. And then when we include revenue, a unit increase, we usually say a unit increase in revenue, in advertisement causes revenue. You see now, when we bring the advertisements in our model, remember it is not now 0, we are bringing it in our model. We say a unit increase in advertisement causes revenue to increase by 1.2727. To increase by 1.2727. So now we can use that model to predict revenue for January, new year. So let's scroll to the data. Scroll to the data columns, Manuel. Scroll to the data columns. Unless there is a question from our colleagues, scroll to the data columns. So go to the row 14. Go to row 14. Row 14, we want to type there January. We want to predict January. What will be the revenue for January? So go there. Revenue for January. So type January, a new year. This is a new year. So we want to project the revenue for new year based on the advertisement effort that we are likely to use. Maybe, for example, it is a close, an end year. For example, it's an end year. Now we want to know what should we do now next? Now that we have identified that there is an impact in advertisement on revenue, and it's coming a new year, what should we put aside for advertisement so that we can realize what percent will we realize, which revenue will we realize? Okay. Then now go to under revenue, under advertisement. There we want to give a value. Under advertisement, we want to give a value. But before you give a value, I want us to write that model in Y. In Y. So go to sales revenue column, just there next go to sales revenue column, type equal to, remember this is the Y, so we are selling Y is equal to, and then we want to give the coefficients. Will we see our coefficients? Will we see our coefficients? Can you take our one of our, just take the scatter plot, because you can move the scatter plot above, so that we can take the scatter plot above so that we can see that and use that model to predict. So we have that model is just the same as the coefficients that we had. So we want to use that to predict. So type there under equal to, we are under equal to. Now we start with 1.2727. 1.27. So this is how we predict. This is how prediction is done. So multiply by, use multiplication symbol, *x, use *x on your machine. And then under X, select expenditure. Under X, select expenditure. No, just there under January. Under January. Select expenditure under January. Nice. Select expenditure under the January, an empty cell. So that anytime you change the expenditures, you can be able to see how much am I going to make. Yes. And then plus, continue with your model. Plus, now you add 141.36, if I may be able to see it clearly. 141.36. Yeah, so we want to predict the revenue for January based on expenditure. So that's how we do it in Excel. So click on enter, press enter. So you see when revenue, when advertisement is 0, the one we were interpreting, expenditure, the revenue we are going to get, is 141.36 US dollars, $1,000. Now, what if we change the revenue by any, the advertisement by any value? Will it have an impact? Yes, it will have a positive impact. We saw that. So let's say we want to invest $200 US dollars under advertisement. So type there 200. The model will be able to compute automatically. When you hit enter, the model will be computed and it will tell you how much are you going to make in January when you invest 200 US dollars. Are we together? Are we together? So far, where are we? Grace? Grace, if you can hear me. George?
So much together.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mercy? Mercy?
Yeah, I'm together with you.
Oh, nice, thank you. Ian? Ian, are we together? Ian Cliff?
Hi. Kindly would you repeat for the January prediction? Kindly.
Or the prediction, here under prediction.
Yeah, the formula for prediction the January.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, thank you. Grace, where are you? Joshua, are we together? Oh, Grace, thank you. Grace, yeah. Where are you?
I'm a bit lost on the regression statistics.
Or regression statistics. Did you
Yes.
print your regression results table,
Yes.
summary output?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have a scatter plot?
Yes.
You have a model on the scatter plot equation?
Yes.
Okay. Then that is easier. So we want to start from there. Mustafa, hope we are together. So we want to start from there. So what you do, Emmanuel, just scroll down to the coefficients, because I think there's where Grace is lost. Grace, hope you're lost under coefficients and the model.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So remember, we have the same coefficients here that are already in our model in the scatter plot. Is what we could have just done. So the coefficient here, remember the equation you see here, y is equal to beta naught. We usually call this beta naught plus beta 1x. It's a simple linear regression equation that we want to use it to predict. Remember, regression is used for prediction. We usually use it for machine learning in order for us to predict things based on other things that we can get. Predicting things we cannot with the future. Forecasting. Yeah, so we have y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1x. Y stands for the dependent variable. Remember, y that we are using here is the y that we used while imputing in the data analysis toolpack. And then we say equal to beta naught. What is beta naught? Beta naught is the intercept. Beta naught is usually the coefficient of the intercept. The coefficient of the intercept. And then we look at beta 1. What's beta 1? Beta 1 is just coefficient for the x. Remember, it's simple linear regression, so we just have one x. We don't have many x's. The independent, the coefficient for the independent variable. Our independent variable here is advertising. And then now, we usually use multiplication. Remember the symbol that separates beta 1 and x is multiplication. That's why they are together. So x stands for advertisement. So any new value for the advertisement will be multiplied by the coefficient of advertisement. That's why we say a unit increase in advertisement will cause revenue to increase by a value that is being multiplied by the advertisement value. Increase by 1.2727. And then from there, we proceed to predict Proceed to prediction to our column where we have the data. Proceed to the column that we have the data columns for the advertising and proceed to the data above. So we want to predict for January. We want to predict for January based on the historical data. The basis of regression is that we have historical data. For example, now we have historical data for the previous financial year, and we want to project. We can even be able to project for the entire next year based on what we experienced in the previous year. Though this data is not sufficient as such, because we need at least 3 years, so that, or 2 years, so at least 3 years, 2 years prior, so that at least we can know if there is some trend into it. Things we cover in time series, checking for trends on particular quarters, trends on particular months, trends on particular cyclic and seasonality, things like that. So here we are looking at January. We want to predict January. So I request Emmanuel to delete values for revenue and delete the values there for expenditure, so that we can start that part together. So go to revenue, delete that. We need to write that model. We need to write that model equal to. So we are saying from the scatter plot model, we are following the scatter plot model. Let's start with the scatter plot model. Scatter plot model says y is equal to 1.2727x plus 141.36. Remember, x is the any value of expenditure that we are going to use. That's why we start with equal to. We say 1.27, 1.2727, 1.2727 multiplied by x. So for our case, x is the expenditure. So we reference it to a cell that is empty, so that we can keep on changing that cell to check which revenue can we make when we set which expenditure. So this is what a business analyst does. So click there, select that cell for expenditure, and then you can add plus is now typing in the formula bar, plus, and then you add the coefficient, the intercept. You add the intercept. Intercept is 1.4136. Remember, intercept is what we said when revenue, when advertisement is equal to 0, revenue will be equal to that 141.36. And that is what you want just to see here when he hits enter. When you press enter, you will just see that. Yes. But when a unit increase in advertisement will cause revenue to increase by 1.2727. Let's add a unit increase in revenue. So let's say we allocate $1,000. Just write there one. Hit enter. Remember, it was 141.36. It has changed to 142.63727. That's what we mean by a unit increase in advertisement will cause revenue to increase by. Remember, it has increased by that value that corresponds to the coefficient of that. And then from there, now we have predicted. Now you can change that value to another value that you want. You can even say, what if I put aside $500,000? So change that to 500, and you'll be able to see which revenue am I going to get. Which revenue am I going to get? I'm going to get $777,000 US. Yeah, and stuff like that. Are we together now, everyone? Are we together? Grace, if you can hear.
Yes, you're together.
Thank you. So when you go to multiple linear regression, so what I will do for multiple linear regression, I'll just leave it as an assignment because it's just the same thing, but the challenge is that we are going to have dependent variables, one independent variable with the more independent variable. So a company wants to know, just go to that data for multiple linear regression. We have now added more things to our analysis, to our database. We have a database. Now we want to add more components to check if these components can be used to predict the revenue we can get maybe in the new year. And now we are adding things like how many active promotions do we have? How do they impact? You can even conduct their scatter plot to check how does it impact the revenue, to check how many people have visited our store. How does it influence on the revenue? Does it have an impact on the revenue? You see, when you look with your eyes, you will get tired. But if you do the analysis, you can be able to understand. You can look at the spending on the advertisement, which you've looked at. Now you can build a very multiple linear regression model that can be able to predict more than just one, based on more than just one variable. So that one will be used as an assignment. Because of time, we are going to look at what if analysis. It's just the same thing like simple linear regression, but in this case, you will have multiple coefficient values. You will have multiple coefficient values, and you cannot plot the whole of that on a scatter plot. A scatter plot only takes two variables. So you can just do some pair visual between revenue and the active promotion, between revenue and the number of stores people visit, revenue and the advertisement, which you already looked at. So you will do that as an assignment. I want us to go to what if analysis. What if analysis. This is also a business, a tool that is used. So for that case, we are going to look at, let me just, Emmanuel, allow me to share my screen so that we can move together as we look at this. Is there a question? Anyone? A question? Anyone? Just stop sharing, Emmanuel. No problem. Is there a question? Anyone? No question? Everything is at home? Okay. We proceed to... So when we started, we were looking at some of the dashboards that people had worked on, but we are not going into that. So dashboards, we had given a data set and would like to know what you are able to do with your data set. How interactive is your dashboard? So this is just some of the things that you're expecting. So for this, you can be able to access here the database. When you click here, you'll be led to the database. When you click here, you will be led to the website. This is Excel. This is Microsoft Excel. I just hidden here some the task show the toolbar, so you see everything is coming. I also put in to hide the grid lines, put in to hide underview, heading. You see, I removed all that, formula bar. You see everything now coming. Yeah, so that's how we do that, and we can auto hide this here. You go to auto hide and then show tabs. So you use auto hide like that. So let me go to the objective for this second part. So the second part, we're going to look at what if analysis. What if analysis? What if analysis? So before we go to what if analysis, let me just check if I have here some material on what if analysis. This is regression still. Should have a material. What if analysis. So maybe allow me to stop sharing a little bit so that I can go into the files, because this video will be uploaded on YouTube. So allow me to stop sharing first. So I'll go to files to access the material that can give us an overview of what we like to cover under what if analysis. So maybe for the meantime, can I get reactions from members on on that part that we have just covered. Reactions, your perspective about that. Reactions, perspective.
I think Emmanuel,
Yes,
from what we covered on the other side on Python,
yes.
I think this is friendlier.
Yeah, it cannot be friendly while using programming languages. Yeah, so
Exactly.
friendlier. So but now the data, it depends with how heavy is the data. So you see, it's easier for you to use the programming tools while handling a lot of huge data, especially when it comes to such kind of analysis. So we have tools like SPSS, Stata, that are just similar to Excel that can be used to handle huge data if you are not conversant or if you're not interested in learning the programming part, so that you can be able to handle data with ease. Those are some of the tools that we use. Yeah, so it is friendly, as you say. I agree with you, George. Yes, another reaction. Another reaction from members on the same. So let me just give a background of what if analysis. I am not going to share this screen. I will share when we go to the practical part. So what if analysis in Excel, we use it for focusing about the cells. So let's say we are going to look at a totally different example, but the example we had, we would have been able to perform also the same. So we want to look at the scenario manager to create different scenarios. So we want to start with looking at scenario manager. We want to start by looking at the scenario manager. Scenario manager. So let me just share my screen. We have a lot of tools there on what if analysis. So let me share my screen so that we can start with scenario manager. Excel have a lot of windows, thousands of windows. Yeah, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you? Okay, thank you. So we are on sheet what if analysis. We are on sheet what if analysis. What if analysis helps us to respond on the question what if, just like the multiple the regression thing, but now this one also helps us to understand the question what if. Okay, so let's check. For you to access the what if, go to the data tab and go to what if analysis. Data tab, what if analysis, you'll see scenario manager, goal seek, and the data table. So here, we want to start by looking at the scenario manager. Scenario manager. So you click on the scenario manager. You click on the scenario manager. You click on the scenario manager. When you click on the scenario manager, you will see a dialog box for scenario manager. You start adding scenarios. So from this data, we have price per unit, we have production per unit, we have marketing expenditures. Fixed cost is 5,000, units sold is 1,000, revenue generated is 50,000, revenue generated is 50,000. Let me just check that. Let me close this and click here. Let me enable my formula bar so that we can see some of the formula, show formula bar. Okay. Yeah. So revenue is 50,000 is computed from the price per unit times the number of units sold. That's what revenue is. Total variable cost is computed from production cost multiplied by per unit multiplied by the number of units that were produced. Number of units that were produced, which were sold. That's the cost that is we call the total variable cost. These are business terms. And then the total cost is a result of total expenditures, the total variable cost. You can see we start here, marketing expenditures plus the fixed cost plus the variable cost. That's what gives us the total cost. And now we want to know profit. we get. So what if analysis helps us to know what if we change the price? What can we get? What if we change the production cost? What if? So what we do, we want to start that. So you go to the data tab, go to what if analysis, and then go to the scenario manager. So we want to add a scenario. You click on add to add a scenario. Scenario name, we want to call this scenario, let's call it baseline scenario. Just that, baseline scenario. Changing cells. So remember the changing cells here for our case is the price per unit. What if we change the price per unit? These ones are the changing cells, the first columns, the first three rows are the changing cells. So we select from cell A1 to A3 under changing cells. Select cell A1 to A3. So we are working on what if analysis. So we start with scenario manager. We want to
A1
see
or
different
B1?
scenarios. B1 to B3. B1 to B3. B1 to B3. So we select the changing cells like that, and then you click on OK. Select changing cells like that, then you click on OK. So when you click OK here, you can see these values. You see the original names. These are the original row we are referencing with the original cells we are referencing with the corresponding values into it. So once we have this, we just click on add. We click on add. We want to add another scenario. So another scenario we want to add. So we want to see what if we change. Let me just see here. What can we use to change? So we already have the sample data. So what if we change? So we want to add these components. Into our scenarios. We want to see what if we have high price. Remember price, we are changing it to 60 and not 50. What if we have low price, a low cost? We are changing the cost to 25 from the original 30 that we have. And then we have high marketing. So these are different scenarios that we want to test. So let me just copy this. I see if I can paste it in our Excel. You see if we can paste this in our Excel. Of course, I cannot be able to paste here. So let me just call this high price. So high price, just call this high price, and then don't change the changing cells. Remember, changing cells are what we are calling the price, the unit. These are the costs, and then this is the marketing, high marketing. So just write here another scenario name, price, high price. Click on OK. When you come here, under scenario values, you change the price. You change only the first one because this is the one that corresponds to the price per unit. So you change it to 60. So what if we change the price? What if we change the price of the item? Which profit are we going to get? Okay, that's what the what if does. Add. You click on add to again add another one. Another one was low cost. Low cost of production. Low cost of what? Expenditure. Production cost. Yes, low cost of production. So let's call this low cost. Low cost. What if we reduce the cost? So click on OK here. Click on OK here and change now the second one. You change the one for cost is this one, 30. Change it to 20. Change it to 20. You change it to 20. And then from there, you click on add again. We add the last one. We want to change the marketing. What if we have high marketing expenditures? So you click here on add, and then you call this high marketing. High marketing. Under scenario name. You don't change the cells. changing cells are the same, the ones we said that they change, because others are computed as a result of those. And then you click on OK. So here we are changing now the last one, because it's the one for marketing, from 10,000 to 15,000. We want to know, what if we change the high marketing to 15,000? What will be the profit? Click on OK. Once we reach there, we click on OK. So when you click on OK, you will be able to see this. You'll be able to see this. You'll be able to see this. So once you are here, you can click on summary. Once you are here, you can click on summary. You can click on summary here. Click on summary, and let's see. It asks us the result cell. The result cell is the profit. We want to see the effect of these different scenarios on profit. So ensure that the cell that is selected here is profit. Ensure the cell that is selected here for your case is profit. So you just reference, just click here and then click on the cell that reference to the value for profit. And then you can click on OK. And then you can click on OK. You will see a scenario summary. 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 So what does this summary scenario show us? This summary scenario. So I just want to click here and change this name to, this name was for price. You click here on the cell and you change here, up here. So price. Then this one is, but no problem with that. Let's just interpret this price. Let's click here, that we can also change here, that we can know this is cost of production. And then this is the marketing expenditures. And then this is the profit. This is the profit. This is the profit. Okay. So for us to see that, we have to reproduce the results, but we don't want to do that now. So these were the current values. These are the current values that we have. Remember, we have 50,000 that 50 shillings that we allocated, and this is the price for each unit. This is the cost of production for each unit. Cost of production for each unit. And then this is the current, what we have as a business. This is what this we said is marketing. Yes, marketing. Why are you deleting yourself? Okay, marketing. So this is marketing. So marketing is 10,000. So the current profit is 5,000. Current profit is 5,000. Current profit is 5,000. So we can compare different scenarios. That's why we are having different scenarios. This is the baseline scenario, the original scenario that we have for the current values. This is what we call the baseline scenario. And then this is what we call the high price. Whenever we increase the price from 50 to 60, what profit are we likely to get? So from that, we see everything is populated here. The profit we are likely to get is this 15,000 is the profit we are likely to get. 15,000 is the profit we're likely to get. What if we lower the cost? We maintain the price here, but we lower the, we are likely still to, and the cost of production, we are likely still to get the same value for profit. And then what if our marketing, we increase the marketing expenditures? What will it have an impact on the profit? We are not going to make a profit. We are not going to make a profit when we increase the high marketing. So that is what the scenario manager does. That's what scenario manager does. That's what scenario manager does. Any question on scenario manager? This is business analysis. This business analysis. Yes. Any question on scenario manager? Is everything running smoothly? I would like to know. From your end, is everything smooth? Is everything smooth? Okay. So the data was shared via email. So if you don't have the data, just check your email. You'll have the data if you've joined us, if you join right now. Okay, so we proceed to goal seeker. Goal seeker. So we have looked at scenario manager. Now we proceed to goal seeker. So we have produced scenario summary here. So yeah, that is it. You can just present this here. When we do this, this is going to happen and stuff like that. So yeah, and then now we proceed to data and then go to what if analysis, goal seek. What if analysis, goal seek. Now we want to seek the goal. So set cells, set cells, set cell, set cell, set cell, set cell to value. So we want to set the value, we want to set profit. Which cell set what? Set profit. We want to set profit. So we want to know what can we do on price, on production cost, on marketing for us to realize a particular value for profit. So for example, we want 20,000 profit. For example, we want 20,000 profit. We want 20,000 profit. What should we do on price per unit? What should we do on production cost? What should we do on marketing expenditure? Yes. Now you come to by changing cells. So these are our changing cells. We remember we said these are our changing cells. These are our changing cells. The first three: price per unit, production cost, and the marketing expenditures. So remember, we started by selecting set cell. We are setting profit to value 20,000. We want a profit of 20,000. What should we do on price? What should we do on production? What should we do on marketing? And then you click on OK here. The reference must be single cell, sorry. So let me just reference this changing cells. So this one is unlike the other one. So this one will have to specify one cell. Let's check on the price. So what should we do on the price? What should we do on the price? Yeah, this one, we figure it one by one. What should we do on the price? Then it computes everything. Price must be 65. Okay, just look here before I click on OK. Okay, let me just click on OK, no problem. So price must be 65. Price must be 65. Of course, everything will change whenever there is cost that is attached to anything that depends on price will change as a result of that. So there is a cell that was depending on price. Things like revenue. Revenue will change. So when revenue changes, that means that the profit is going to change. Profit now changes. Now we have to sell every unit to be 65 shillings. Every unit to be 65 shillings. For us to sell 1,000 units, we have not changed the units, are just the same to realize this revenue so that we can get this profit. Hello?
Hello.
We want to repeat. Yes, are we together?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to repeat for, okay, thank you. We want to repeat for production cost. Yes, production cost. Let's see. So let's change this to 50 to the original. When you change here 50, everything will go back to default, the original. Now we want to go to data, what if analysis, goal seek. So set cell, we are setting profit. To what value? Maybe the same 20,000 that we had. Which cell are we changing? The production cost. Click on the production cost, click on OK. You see everything computed. Solution found. Goal seek, cell B9. Click on OK. So that means if we want to make a profit of 20,000 without changing the price per unit, we are supposed to make a production cost, to minimize the production cost to 15 shillings per unit. So you can also, I will allow one to do that for marketing expenditures. I will allow one person to do that for marketing expenditures. I will allow one person to do that for marketing expenditures. Let me stop sharing my screen. Hope you've understood. And now I'd like one to do it for marketing expenditures. So I'll stop sharing to allow one person to help us look at spending expenditures. So who is ready to show us that? Who is ready to show us that? Who is ready to show us that? Simple. Grace. The other one, the first session, Emmanuel was the one who was sharing. Zumba was the one who was sharing his screen. So Grace, if you're in the position, we request that you share your screen. So that we can know. Are you able? Please, you can respond.
No, I'm not able to share my screen.
Okay, thank you. George, let me see.
Yes.
Are you able to share your screen?
Let me share. Let me share.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming up, coming up. Yeah, so there we go. We can see your screen.
Okay. What was the initial value on
The
production?
initial was 10,000 for marketing, and for production was 30. Was 30.
Was that
Production was 30. Yeah.
so we go
let's
back
start.
to the initial values.
Yes, yes.
So of course we put our cursor anywhere on the data. Then we go to motive analysis. We want to go for goal seek. We want to set our profit 20,000. The changing cell here is marketing. So we select marketing and we let the Excel do the work, do the magic by clicking OK.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Is it still running or done?
It's still running.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
done.
Yeah. So that's the power of Microsoft Excel, and there is a lot that we cannot be able to to explore here within the time that we have. That's why we have the advanced Excel for financial modeling. So one can enroll for advanced Excel for financial modeling. Just advanced Excel apart from these challenges. This is what we are unlocking the potential of Microsoft Excel. So these are just we are just scratching on the power of Excel. But there's a feedback form in the chat section. There is a feedback form in the chat section. So please give us your feedback about the learning of today, the material, the concept. And in case you get a question that you feel you are not supposed to be asked, just respond to it the way you had responded to it prior. So maybe can I know if someone is having a question on what we have learned? Can I know if someone is having a question? So yeah, so just give us your feedback. Yes, yes. There was someone who was raising the hand. Yes, Joshua.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello. So
Yes,
my
we can hear
question
you.
is, okay, my question
Yes.
is not basically on the what we have learned.
Yes. But
Just an
now for
inquiry.
that, just wait. Okay, just wait a little bit before you pose your inquiry. Yeah. So let's just get first of all the question about the class, and then all inquiries will come at the end, because this is our last session. So
Okay.
of course we have another challenge coming up from next week, and we also have a webinar for Kobo Toolbox for those who want to learn data collection. We have a webinar on Saturday next week. So is there a question first of all on what we have learned? Please check the chat section. Let's give feedback there, as we also get inquiries about our any inquiry. Yeah. Thank you for the session, but let's get inquiries now.